from the book of James. Second chapter, verse 26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead. Let me start off. Verse 26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Can't do nothing with dead faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. I had a title on the tip of my tongue just a second ago, but I lost it. We're going to talk about faith. Dead faith. Dead faith. James, Apostle James, is clear about our faith in works. You have a lot of preachers, well-known, established preachers, college degrees, people like John MacArthur and other preachers that tell you that you don't need works for salvation. You don't need work to come to Christ, but you need works in the end. The book of Matthew declared that at judgment, we all will stand before Christ and give an account on every deed done in this body, whether it be good or bad, your works. In the book of Matthew, Jesus said, let your light so shine so men can see your good work and glorify their Father which is in heaven. Jesus said, unless a man do the work, the will of his Father, he cannot enter into the kingdom. Preachers telling you that your works is not important. We don't need works. That ain't what the Bible say. That's not what the apostles say. There's many scriptures in the Bible where Apostle Paul mentioned works. Let's go back up to chapter 2 of James, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it has not works, is dead being alone. Verse 18, yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. You can go to church every time the church doors is open. You can sing in the choir. You can do all that's good as far as believing going to church corporate. You can be at church on time every Sunday. You can stay at church for every service they have. In our culture, we have plenty of church services. They have weekend conferences now. There's nothing but church services for the sake of taking in money. But it's very common in this country now, conferences, weekend, Friday, Saturdays. Then, of course, you have Sunday service. Whole lot of churching going on. Whole lot of churching going on in this land today. It's good if it's done for the right reasons. Not for those who are looking to get rich. And that's what the land is filled with today, because the Bible said, look at the billionaire preachers. Look at the billionaire preachers, haven't worked a day in their life, filthy rich. I'm not going to speculate on what they might be doing outside pushing up, but that's enough. If you are taking this Bible to use it to line your pockets and get rich like what we see in this country today, you absolutely 100% wrong. I got thousands of followers. Thousands all over the world. Many preachers in the United States alone can say that. Look at their numbers. But what are your works? Members, what are your works? The Bible says we must have works. That quote that we hear in my culture, how they describe the faith without works is impossible to please God. It's talking about faith, but when James is talking about works, it's talking about the real works that you do as a believer. Your deeds. You can go to church and you can be a good person. But if you don't have works, if you don't have works, good works, you can have works, evil works, or good works. You got to have good works. Without works, it's impossible to please God. Jesus said work. His apostle said works. Works. Your deeds. Jesus will ask the question, which is the greatest commandments? Jesus said, love thy neighbor. Love the Lord thy God, and love your neighbor. You got to look out for your neighbor as being a believer. Because we see in the scriptures, Jesus had a special place in his heart for the poor. That's what Jesus came for, the poor. It seems today that your salvation, it depends on how much money you have. You have to be rich to be a Christian now. If you follow the Jakes, the Hens, Copelands, Dollars, Myers. The list go on and on and on. If you look at them, you have to be rich, upper class, pretty much celebrity status to be a Christian. You can't have no less than $100,000 in your bank account to be a Christian if you're looking at these folks. Because it's going to cost you a lot of money to attend their churches and their functions. I never seen such. And the Bible don't support any activity like that. If we read the book of James, we'll see. Jesus said, the poor you will have with you always. Jesus had a special place in his heart for the poor. There were many rich non-believers in the Bible. I think the rich non-believers outnumber the rich believers in the Bible. And you read the stories and you read the verses where Jesus talked about the rich and the poor. See what he said about the rich. It's basically impossible for the rich to enter into heaven. That's in the scriptures. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for the rich to enter into heaven. We have plenty of rich Christians, so-called rich Christians in this world today, in the United States alone. I grew up watching the Kenny Copelands, the prosperity preachers. I grew up watching a lot of the non-prosperity preachers that are rich, like Dr. Charles Stanley and all them. But all I ever seen out of them were preaching, TV evangelism, which amounted to money for them. Never seen them out there actually doing any works. Look at the poor population in this country, all across the United States, and look at all the churches that are operating in the United States. Wonder why the poor population is so high when we have mega churches, large churches, average churches. You can still find average churches doing some works, but when it comes to works, it is really an individual thing. But as churches, you can come together and do works. That's what the church house is supposed to be about. Not a haven for the rich people. Not a place to just come and socialize. You can go to church every Sunday like all the artists we see, like Joel Osteen. Look at his congregation out there in Houston. But do you ever see them push James works, giving, bottom line, giving, helping, taking that money, taking your money and going, donating to people, giving to the homeless? You ever see them push that? You don't hear that coming out of these preachers' mouths in the United States. Not the well-known preachers. They always on the take. Bring your tithe to the church. Bring all your donation money to the church. And turn around, them churches is not doing anything with that money. That's why they discovered with $175,000 in the walls of the church down in Texas. Somebody on the inside stashed that money there. I'm not going to say Joel Osteen has some, but when you deal with these mega churches, a lot of money floating around. And they not doing anything for the communities. All that money a lot of these churches are bringing in, just look at Houston alone. With the mega predominant white pastor churches and the black pastor. Look how many mega churches Houston have. Just put the black and white preachers together and the Hispanics. Look how much money them churches are generating on a Sunday alone. And how much money is being put back into those communities to help the people. How much money is being given to the homeless shelters? We know they're not opening their churches to the homeless, to the poor, and feeding them, but are they donating? Nope. That money is going to support lavish living, all sorts of stuff. And if you dig deep enough in a lot of these mega tracts, you will probably find a whole bunch of illegal activities, offshore bank accounts, some of everything going on. Church has become a corporate institution. And it's all about money. That's all they preach about. Joel Osteen, them don't preach against sin. Joel Osteen is not really a prosperity preacher, but at the same time, he don't preach against sin. So he have a tickle, itchy ear ministry. Just smile every Sunday, smile at the cameras and make people and get that little lecture they call sermons, and you out of there. Then you turn around and see him welcome Madea into the church and endorsing that drag queen spirit. Tyler Perry don't have no business in nobody's church up in the pulpit calling himself preaching, laying his hands on bishops, and made his living off of a drag queen spirit. Got famous off of church folks and using the Bible. Look at how twisted we are. Faith without works is dead. Down here in the country where I live at, my people, Sunday morning, they all go to church. They at church. Saturday night, they like singers, and you can find them all the way around the church, always around the church on the weekend doing something, playing music. Sunday afternoon services, they doing it. But when it comes to actually living, like the Bible says, works, you can't find them out doing anything. The preachers don't push that down here. Works. They'll go to church, spend a lot of time at church, choir day, whatever day, following the pastor around. That's not works. They refuse to lend their neighbors a helping hand. Won't help nobody. I see this. Pass you by on the side of the road. See you stranded. See you standing in the supermarket. Won't speak to you. Won't ask you, everything okay? You good? They won't try to reach out to help you. I don't need help, but I help people. That's what I do. I can see somebody standing in line in the supermarket like they don't have enough money to pay for it. If I got it, I don't hesitate. Me and my wife is like that. She learned from me. That's what we do. I don't mind giving people money. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. If they hurting, look like they need help, if I got it, I'm going to give it. You need gas? Even if you don't need gas, fill them up. I got a young man down here in my town, Senator Toby, that work at the local grocery store. Been working there for a long time. Talk to him, not pat myself on the back, but I blessed the young man a while back. Didn't really even know him, but I just knew his spirit. Nice young man working in the produce section. Been there. So My people, we go to church and we don't exemplify what the Bible says we ought to do. Just going to church ain't good enough. You got to do what the Bible says. Help your neighbor. Look out for your neighbor. Your works. Do good deeds. Get out and try to help the community. Be a positive figure. Get out and do community cleanups. I give it to the white churches. The average white church, this is what they do. They spend their time doing missionary work. Not running around from church to church on the weekend. Not running around pretending to be holy. They works, community. Get out and build, paint, do whatever on the weekends. During the week. Whenever they have a free time. Faith without works is dead. Don't let nobody tell you don't have to have works. That's against the scriptures. You see it throughout the New Testament. Works. Good works. Paul, all apostles, and even right here. I'll show you my faith by my works. That's what James said. You got to pull forth an effort. You see your brother, man, destitute for food or raiment or whatever, and you refuse to help that person? Are you really a child of God? That's what the Bible promotes. Helping your neighbor. Looking out for your neighbor. Not to be so judgmental. Oh, what they doing with their money? He should get a job. She need a. We prone to doing it. That's flesh. But we still have to help them people. Sometimes. You can't go around just using it for an excuse not to help people. You don't know what they've been through. Even if he might not be no count. Sometimes helping will put something on a person's mind to want to better themselves. Sometimes helping person is a way to establish some type of relationship you can inspire this person. You just can't look down and pass them on by. Pass them off as being no count, no good. I see this often. Few stop in West Memphis that I feel that all the time. You got a couple of homeless people that hang out there. People see me giving them money, which I don't give them money all the time, but I give them, they be frowned. Why you giving them money? Nah. That's my business. Y'all too stingy to help somebody because you're prejudging them. You don't know God. It's flesh. I do sometimes myself, I do find myself prejudging people. I try not, if I ain't gonna help them, I don't try to look down on them. Well, look at the shoes he got on. He ain't poor. Look at them. And people are out there ripping off people, but at the same time, $5, $6 is not gonna kill you. God sitting high, he looking low. He seeing what they doing, and he seeing what you doing. You too stingy to give somebody $4, $5, and you got a pocket full of money, or you got access to get money. You can't judge like that. Just give them and let God deal with it. They ripping people off here, they gonna pay for it. But if you refuse to do good, like the Bible say, James said you refuse to do good when you know to do good, it's a sin. I'm glad God gave me a heart of giving and helping, not just going to church like a lot I see. I was helping a young lady in my neighborhood a few months ago. Somebody passed by that I know it's a church-going person. Played for a group. Go to church all the time. Just left church on the Sunday. I was at the intercession trying to help out. They just passed right on by. Then he would stop to ask, you need any help, need any assistance? They don't care. These church people don't care. I took my car and pushed her out the intersection. These people down here, these church folks down here where I live at, Mississippi, Senatobia, all these folks I know, they go to church, but they ain't worth a quarter outside of church. Oh, pass you by in a heartbeat. Won't offer no helping hand. Ain't gonna go in the store and offer to pay for somebody's gas or a little food. They ain't gonna do that. They selfish. The church don't push that. The churches don't push stuff like that. Bring the money to the church. Church ain't got no ministers. The preacher robbing, preaching in the family, taking all the tithe money. This is not a doctrine in God's church, Christ's church, but so be it. They taking it. Y'all supporting all these church functions and all these conferences like the Jakes and all this stuff these people got on. Y'all be better off taking that money, putting it directly in the hands of the poor people, donating it to the homeless shelters. Put that money where you know it's going to benefit somebody that need it, not study giving to the rich. They don't need that money. What you think they doing with that money? All that money, Sarah Jakes and T.D. Jakes and all of them making all these work. What they doing with all that money? I have yet to see these people out there actually doing any type of missionary work. Jimmy Carter is a prime example of doing work for the Lord. Look at the woman in the Bible, Tabitha. She did alms deed. God, look at that. God called her a disciple. Now, that's the only woman in the Bible that really called it a disciple. All these women around here talking about they preachers, but they ain't disciples. You're not disciples. A lot of these pastors traveling around different churches and preachers, that ain't no good. All y'all doing is getting money while you hiding up in the church. Works.